Oi, oi, girls and boys and everything in between, it's Ace Trainer Liam, and today I'm continuing my series where I look at my top 10 favourite Pokemon in each of the 18 types. Now, if you didn't see my normal types video last week, you're probably wondering, why are you doing this, Liam? Didn't you do all these videos before? I did, but they were over 2 years ago. And of course, since then, we've had a brand new generation, and of course, we've had brand new Pokemon. I've had time to get used to those Pokemon, so now I have more concrete ideas of what my opinions are on certain Pokemon, and which I prefer and which I don't like. Also, I've been using other Pokemon from other generations in between, so some have grew on me and some I've kind of grown out of. This week we're going to be looking at the fighting type, which of course is synonymous with physicality and brute strength. Loads of inspiration from things like martial arts and general just random fighting techniques. A great set of really big bruising Pokemon, and today I'm going to be listing my top 10. So follow along as I bring you my top 10 favorite fighting type Pokemon. Number 10, Buzzwole. Now let's get it out of the way. Its name sounds like butthole. You good? Good. Now, Buzzwole is one of the more interesting Ultra Beasts purely because it has so much kind of personality to it. Like, instead of being just a really scary looking Pokemon that's a lot bigger than normal Pokemon, looks a bit more menacing than normal Pokemon, it's a big, huge bundle of attitude. Like, I love the way it's kind of like what a fighting type Pokemon should be, in the form that it's so aware of its own strength that it's constantly trying to flex. It's constantly trying to show off how strong it knows it is. And that's something we don't normally see in the fighting type Pokemon in their general kind of in-battle stance and things like that, whereas Buzzwole is constantly flexing, it's constantly showing off its muscles, and it's constantly going, look at me, I know I am the shit. Not to mention, it also looks like it takes inspiration from a Scrab from Oddworld. If you have no idea what that is, I'll pop it on the screen and you'll probably think it's a Buzzwole without arms. It's just a really cool design for a Pokemon. I like that it's kind of a ridiculously OP mosquito. Like, it's really, really cool looking. It's just a fantastic all-round big old bruising fighting type, and it's exactly what I expected from a fighting and bug type Pokemon. Number 9, Medicham. Now, it's common knowledge that I don't really like Pokemon that look too much like humans. Like, I'm not a big fan of Pokemon that seem like they're wearing clothes. I'm not a big fan of Pokemon that just look like some dude in a suit. But Medicham is one of those Pokemon that slowly but surely has grown on me. Even though Medicham looks like just some scrawny dude in some baggy pants and a nice tall hat, it really has grown on me in the sense that I've discovered how fun it is to use in battle. I'm a really big fan of the abilities Pure Power or Huge Power, depending which Pokemon you're using, and of course Medicham gets Pure Power. And that ability, for those who don't know, basically doubles your attack stat, making Medicham a massive powerhouse, and it's really, really fun to use. I've used it in battle quite a few times recently, and also I've gotten used to it in the Metromania series that I do on Thursdays, where Medicham just every so often just absolutely cleans house. It is still a little bit too human to me, which is why it's so far down the list, but at the same time, it's just grown on me so much that I do kind of like seeing Medicham now. It's not like I look at it anymore and go, ugh, it's that Pokemon. I now look at it and I go, oh cool, it's a Medicham. And that's really something that makes it deserve a place on this list, if you ask me. Number 8, Poliwrath. Now, I am a big, massive fan of Poliwhirl. We all know this. Poliwhirl is my favorite Pokemon. It's adorable. It's a big old blue bouncy boy. But give him steroids and he turns into Poliwrath. And that is beautiful. No matter what anybody says, Waterstone contains steroids. Ask Vaporeon. Vaporeon knows the secrets the doctors do not want you to know. Poliwrath also knows those secrets. I love it. I love the idea of my favorite Pokemon basically eating spinach like Popeye, getting big old roidy muscles, and just being an absolute badass. I have in the past used Poliwrath in a lot of my old Wi-Fi battles, and it was really, really fun to use. It was great to combine with things like a Choice Band so that its attack was stronger, even if it limited it to only one attack. But then with its Swift Swim ability, bring the rain up, and he's got double the speed, so then he's got extra speed, extra power, just kicking booty and taking names. That's what Poliwrath is all about, and I really, really love it for being an extension of my favorite Pokemon. Still wouldn't pick it over Poliwhirl, but this is a fighting type list, so he's got pride of place. Number 7, Breloom. Now, Breloom is weirdly cute, bear with me. Like, I know some people probably don't think it's that cute. It's basically a kangaroo dinosaur looking thing with a mushroom on its head. It's just a really, really adorable looking Pokemon. It's got a really cute little face, but at the same time, it's a really cool Pokemon to use. Plus, especially if you're a shiny hunter, because it knows False Swipe, it can know Spore because it can learn it as a Shroomish and then evolve into Breloom, and then obviously it has Spore because it doesn't lose its moves when it evolves. And having a guaranteed sleep move and the ability to use False Swipe, which leaves your opponent on 1 HP, makes shiny hunting and catching legendary Pokemon so much easier, and it's a great tool to have. So Breloom, you're technically a tool, but we love you. Number 6, Heracross. Now, Heracross, again, is one of these Pokemon that I just overlooked. When I first saw it in the Johto Journeys anime, I was like, it's fine. It's a big old beetle. That's cool. Then I noticed its adorable little smile and its big old bug eyes. It's a really cute design Pokemon. And I like the idea that it's so simple. It's how a Pokemon should be. It looks like the creature it's based on, but it has that little Pokemon twist on it that just makes it look like you just know when you look at it, it's a Pokemon. And I really, really enjoy that. I also really enjoy how effective it can be in battle. It can really clean house and destroy teams if used correctly. It can have the Moxie ability, which raises its attack stat every time it knocks out a Pokemon, which for Heracross isn't that difficult to do anyway. You then give it a Choice Scarf, so it can only use 1 attack, but it's got increased speed. And of course, then the formula's simple. You knock out an opponent, get the attack boost, so when the next opponent comes out, you hit even harder, knock that opponent out, attack boost again, so now you're at double attack. Your opponent sends out another Pokemon, boom, knock it down, boom, knock the next one down. And then your Heracross just cleans house, and the whole time it does it with that adorable little smile on its face, and that is so sinister that I can't help but love this Pokemon. Number 5, Toxicroak. Now, this entry has come out of respect, because when I first played Diamond, and I just got back into Pokemon, I played Diamond back in 2013, and I was in hospital, and I just picked up Pokemon Diamond just as something to do in hospital. I don't even think I picked it up. I think my mum or my girlfriend at the time brought my DS to me and happened to have Pokemon Diamond and leave that with me. Like, oh, Liam kind of likes Pokemon, I'm sure he'll play that. So I played Pokemon Diamond, and I didn't know much about typing, I didn't know much about how to battle in a Pokemon game effectively, so I was just kind of picking the moves I thought sounded cool. But every time I got to Saturn's Toxicroak, no matter what happened, that Toxicroak decimated me. There's no reason it should, and I know that if I just had a Pokemon with Confusion or Psybeam, I'd have been absolutely fine and I'd have destroyed it, but for some reason, Saturn's Toxicroak gave me personally so much trouble, always sent me back to the Pokemon Center at least once. I was never ready for it, and eventually I got to a point where I was like, I kind of want one of these Toxicroak things. I just wanted one. I wanted a Toxicroak, didn't even know it evolved from Croagunk, to be fair, so I had no idea where to find this Pokemon, and I just remember being like, I want this. This Pokemon's destroying me, and I kind of respect that because I want that kind of power. Obviously, I know nowadays, it's a strong Pokemon, but it's not bulky, it's very fragile, it's the only Pokemon, apart from Croagunk, obviously it's pre-evolution, that is 4 times weak to Psychic type attacks, so it's not a great Pokemon, but I have so much respect for how many times it kicked the crap out of me. Number 4, Persimmon. I've wanted a Pokemon based on a black and white ruffed lemur for years. We all know it. We've all seen my Instagram. I'll show the picture where I look kind of fat and I'm with a black and white ruffed lemur. They're so fun to be around. They have so much personality. They just jump on you and sit on you and hang out with you and take food from you and bite you if you don't have any food. Anyway, they're great. They're wonderful creatures and I love them. They're probably amongst some of my favorite animals. And then Pokemon goes, hey, Liam, we hear you like ruffled lemurs. Here's one. And it's not only a ruffed lemur, it's combined with one of your favorite Final Fantasy X characters in the form of Waka, and we've spliced them together and made this thing, and we call it Persimmon, and it's so freaking cool. It has an alright ability. Its ally faints, it copies its ally's ability. That's kind of cool. I like that it's based on the whole sports thing, like it's a receiver, so it basically its ally faints and it passes the ability, like you're passing the ball. I don't know, sport. I just really, really love the design of this Pokemon. I think it's so, again, like Pokemon should be. It's really simple design, but it's so effective. We took a black and white ruffed lemur, we gave it a helmet, we gave it a sporty attitude, and it uses a berry as a ball. Great. Fantastic stuff. so cool, fun to use in battle in my opinion, even if it is outclassed by other fighting types, but just, it's such a fun Pokemon. Number 3, Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee, back in the day, back in Generation 1, was one of my favorite Pokemon. Granted, there were a lot less Pokemon then, so certain Pokemon would have been in my top 10 favorites out of necessity, but Hitmonlee was always up there in the upper echelon. There was like Poliwrath, Charmeleon, Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee was up there. Loved it. I just thought it was so freaking sinister and cool looking. Like, the thing is, I don't like humanoid Pokemon, but Hitmonlee is one of those rare cases where it's a humanoid Pokemon, but it doesn't look like a human. Does that make sense? Because it's kind of an oxymoron. It makes sense to me. It looks kind of alien. It looks like it's not of our world, and I really like that about Hitmonlee. It's got those sinister looking eyes, and all it does is just aggressively kick the crap out of people, like kick people flying. It's the pioneer of the high jump kick. It's such a cool Pokemon. It's so kind of intimidating, I feel. I feel like if a Hitmonlee walked up to you, you would be very, very intimidated because it doesn't look human, even though it's of humanoid shape. I think that air of kind of unpredictability that is around Hitmonlee is what kind of scares me, but also makes me love this Pokemon. Number 2, Beware. Now, I'm not going to keep you long on Beware. You all know why I love it, and if you don't know why I love it, go watch my top 10 normal type Pokemon. Beware's in that list, and I explain all about why I love this Pokemon. Long story short of it is, it's adorable, it's wonderful, I want a giant plush of it, and it could kill me if I hugged it and it hugged me too tight. Isn't that beautiful? Number 1, Hawlucha. We all know I'm a massive wrestling nerd. We all know that I'm that guy who knows all the backstage stuff about wrestling. I read all the dirt sheets. I read all the stuff about what's going on backstage in wrestling and all the stuff that goes into the storylines and all that jazz and where they're writing the storyline to go and all that. I'm a big old wrestling nerd. And I love me some lucha libre. I love me some Mexican wrestling. And Hawlucha, of course, is based on a luchador, a Mexican wrestler, and just is the physical embodiment of that. Its face is the luchador mask combined with a bird. Its wings have the frills of a flamboyant entrance gear. It's so perfectly done. They took the source animal, which is like, you know, like a bird or a hawk or whatever. They took the source kind of idea of Lucha Libre and spliced them together so perfectly into a wonderful looking Pokemon. Alright, again, in battle, it's outclassed by other flying types and other fighting types. What isn't these days doesn't mean that it can't be my favorite of the fighting types, because it's just so cool. I love using it. I think it's absolutely great, and I think it just has this badass aura about it, especially with the fact that it's the first Pokemon to have a dual type move in the form of Flying Press. Hawlucha's just incredible. It's so fantastic. Hey, that was a wrestling reference if you guys didn't get it. Oh, it's fantastic. I really, really love Hawlucha. I think it's amazing. If I had one in real life, it would be my muscle. It'd be the thing that gets me in all the cool clubs and stuff, because it'd just beat up all the bouncers. That would be my Hawlucha, and we would be such a cool tag team. So Hawlucha, you're great. You definitely deserve the title of my top fighting type Pokemon. So that's my list of my top 10 fighting type Pokemon. Make sure you let me know down in the comments below which are your favorite fighting type Pokemon. And of course, like, share, and subscribe because it helps out the channel. If you'd like to support me like these guys down here do, you can pledge to my Patreon. The link's in the description. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.